Hey everyone, just finished reading The Psychology of Time Travel by Kate Mascarenhas. Sorry, Kate, we'll just stick with Kate. It's a new book, time travel book. Very rare in that it's a book where women invent time travel. That's why I sought it out. There are not a lot of those, which is why I'm writing one myself. Um, I have to say, this is the first novel I've read from beginning to end since I've written a novel myself, and it really changed the way I approached it. So there are sort of two different aspects to this. One, as a not quite novelist, as someone who is aspiring to become a published author, I am super impressed with this book. Kate, it's the first novel, but it's really impressive structurally. I consider myself a person who has thought a lot about time travel and its implications and fun things you can do with it. But I'm going to say Kate has put a lot more thought into it than I have, maybe by an order of magnitude. She found so many interesting things to explore. It's called The Psychology of Time Travel because she explores a lot of the psychological effects that time travel would have on a person, and it's fascinating stuff. And then the way she structures the story, using different time periods and bouncing between timelines. It's very well done. Super impressive. I have nothing but good say about it as a not quite novelist. I hope someday to write a book with as cool a structure. My first one is much more straightforward than this. But as a reader, I didn't really like this book, and I'll tell you why. And I think this is an important lesson for me, as a not quite novelist, but also perhaps for any of you who are thinking about writing something. In that, Kate, came up with all these interesting things, all these interesting aspects of time travel that I have never seen explored before, and she dived really deep into them, and she crafted a world that is her world building is really impressive. Um, and then she chose to take these tools and tell a story that explores the darker side of human nature. Time travel provides new ways for people to haze each other, and it provides new ways for couples to be infidelitous, and it provides new ways for people to murder each other. And I feel like this is a trap so many creative types fall into. There's something about the darker side of human nature that is interesting, and we are nice people, and so it's fascinating to us to explore the darker regions of. But I mean, I look around the world and I feel like we are swiftly marching towards a dystopia in real life. And so I don't really need my fiction that I read or write to explore what that might be like, because I can just look around the world and see it. I don't need fiction to invent new ways for people to be cruel to each other, because people are really good at doing that anyway. I would much rather have a book that, without shying away from the hard parts of life, without shying away from the dark side of humanity and human nature, encourages me to be better, inspires me to think that people are capable of goodness and innately driven to be good. I am tired of novels and, frankly, nonfiction books that rail on this idea that human nature is continually evil. Because even though, yes, I look around society and I see all sorts of darkness, my interactions with individual people are all highly positive. People are good. People want to be good. I think that the craziness we see in the world is an amalgamation of all the tiny flaws we all have. You take 7 or 8 billion of those and put those together, and you start to get a lot of darkness. But the reality on an individual level is that people are good. People want to be good. People want to be inspired to be good. And so, um, for me, this book felt almost like an act of betrayal, because I've looked so long for a book where a woman, or women in this case, invents time travel, right? It seems like all the time travel novels, most of them are men, but if there's a woman, she always stumbles into it accidentally, right? Like, oh, I opened this closet in Scotland and suddenly I'm in 1820, or I am forced into indentured servitude in the past or the future. It's never I want to travel through time and I'm going to do it. Men do that, women do not. So I was so happy to find a book where, like, time travel is intentionally invented by 4 women. And then to read it and realize, like, wow, this author put so much thought into this world and so much thought into how time travel works and how it affects people. And that's really incredible. And she did a fantastic job. But then to use all this brilliance to tell just another dark story of people being crappy to each other is super disappointing, honestly. So my commitment and what I'm learning from this is that I need to resist this desire. I feel it too. It's always interesting to think like, oh, what if there was a way for people to get away with whatever sin or crime? But the truth is, people get away with sins and crimes all the time. A lot of murders go unsolved. A lot of marriages have secrets in them. Like this, you're not being creative if your story is filled with this stuff. What's hard and what's admirable is finding a story that inspires and edifies and educates and encourages people. I want people when they close my books to come away feeling like I now have more tools for tackling the problems in my life. Without feeling preached at, without reading a how to book or a self help book, I want them to say, man, that was a lot of fun. And now I'm totally going to live my life differently. That's hard. I have not experienced that very many times in the books I've read. And I don't feel like a lot of authors are really trying to do that without being like really preachy or soppy or whatever. So that's my aspiration. And this channel, this series is going to be me talking about how I pursue that aspiration and occasionally reviewing books where others either succeed or fail. Thanks for watching.